name is?
Drexel Phillips.
Drexel Phillips. Longtime friend of Moss.
Anything that he had up here, all I had to do is just come. If he was here, tell him. If he wasn't here, just get it. He told me time and time again that if you need anything up here, it don't matter where I'm here or not, just come get it.
My goodness. And your name, sir, is?
I'm Richard King.
And you're a neighbor of Moss.
Yeah, I was a neighbor for about 25 years. Mr. Phillips said he had to help you any way he could and do anything he could for you. All you had to do is just ask her.
Yeah.
Or help yourself to what he told me the same thing.
Just tell us a little bit about what happened to Moss.
Well, Tommy Cole and Miss Susan Owens come out and told him that they had 10 days to clean up the whole property here. So I come up and they come out on a Wednesday about 12, a little after lunch. And so I sing them out here, and I come back up on a Thursday and talk to Moss, and you could tell he hadn't slept, and he's so nervous he couldn't talk and everything. It just tore him up. And so I said, well, if you'll get your tractor going, and I got a tractor, we'll haul everything toward the back of the property where you can't even see it from the road. And so he said, well, I'll go get a battery and be prepared to start working. That would have been on Friday. I was going to be off on Fridays. And he went and got a battery and made it back to the doorstep there, and that's where Mr. Phillips found him there about an hour or so after I'd left.
Me and my wife come by at 12:30. Or a little after 12:30, I'd carried her to the doctor. And we come back by and stopped. Moss called me right after Cole and them left and told me about it. I told him, I said, well, Moss, I'll help you. I can't. Tomorrow I got to carry her to the doctor, but I said, I'll help you after that. Well, me and her come back to the doctor's office. I stopped out there. And he was in the trailer, and I went out there to the trailer. He come back out, stood there by the car and talked to me and my wife. He said he is a veteran of 3 wars, captured 4 times. He didn't none of that ever phase him compared to this. He said, Drexel, I'm telling you, this come the night driving me crazy of anything I've ever had to happen to me. So I went home, and I told him, he asked me if I had a hot battery, and I told him I did. He said, well, he'd come get it. I said, no, I got to go to the drugstore at 4 o'clock. I'll bring it up here. And I went to the drugstore, got up there at exactly 4 o'clock, and got her medicine. They had it ready. And I come back, just got out of the drugstore and got in the car and come back out here and stopped. I never thought nothing about it. I just opened the door and got the battery out and brought it and sat on the run board the tractor. And I began to hunt. Like always, I just come to the back of the trailer and took a stick. They had a stick standing there, and I just beat on the trailer. He'd always answer me if he was in the trailer. No answer. Well, he's out in the garden, so I come out here. No sign of him. And I went back to the trailer. Hollered. I just walked on in and went back and just laid hunkered down, and one leg was on one side, the door was facing, the other was the other way. And I couldn't get telephones over in the corner, and I couldn't get to it. So I just turned around. I felt to see if I could get a pulse. I couldn't feel.
And is this a direct result of the Self-Governance Act that was voted in by this county?
Undoubtedly, because it's something that they said that he had 10 days to clean up everything here, or that Marshall County would come in here and hire people to do in the country. You think you should, and that's the way Moss felt. He said, this is my stuff, and I ordered it, and this is the way he told me time after time. Said, I could live anywhere I want to, but this is where I wanted to live, and this is the way I want to live.
Yeah.
I said, well, you're old enough to be able to do what you want to do, I guess.
Right. Veteran of 3 wars ought to be able to do that.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, which way did you come up? You come up 168.
Yes.
Back down the road here. I'll say 6-8 miles. Boy lived something like Burton here, Hag Burton here in Paul's truck from church. And he had cancer. Him and his wife both had cancer. And he had some old cars around there. Cole and Owens went down there and told him he had 10 days to get that cleaned up. If they had cleaned up for him, he'd pay for it. He told Cole, said, I'm a-dying with cancer. Cole told him he didn't give a damn how many cancers he had. He had 10 days to get that shit cleaned up. Or they cleaned up for him, he'd pay for it. Well, the boy got out there, him and his wife, both of them with cancer. Got it cleaned up. 5 days after he got it cleaned up, he died from cancer. 10 days later, his wife died from cancer.
Hmm.
So,
And the code enforcement officer is the final authority in all this, I take it.
yeah,
What he says goes.
yeah.
Needed a hernia operation. Boss said, he said, I showed him I wasn't kidding about my hernia. He had a big old hernia right here. I said, I showed him, and he said, it don't matter. You still got 10 days to get everything clean.
Well, we did some research this morning. I started, well, have you seen this picture we had? Moss had was holding this in his hand. The citation that he had. And I got curious about it because the picture looked a little different. You know, I was in the Navy too, and the Enterprise was CV-60, I think. But anyway, it wasn't CVA-60. It wasn't CV-6. So I went and looked it up, and Don helped me look it up. You realize that was the ship he was on when he was in World War II. Was the most decorated battleship in the history of World War II. And they received a presidential citation, and it's just amazing the number they earned 20 battle stars, which is more than any ship in the history of the United States. He was in every major battle in the Japanese conflict in the Pacific, the Gilbert Islands, the Marshall Islands, Wake Island, Doolittle's raid on Tokyo, Midway, Guadalcanal, Stewart Island, the Solomon Isles. Her record includes 27 enemy ships sunk, 16 enemy ships damaged, 185 enemy aircraft destroyed, and they had a little note that said that's not counting ones in minor engagement, so we don't know how many they really got. During that time, the Enterprise was struck 6 times by enemy bombs and lost over 300 members of her crew as killed or wounded in action. For many months there, the Enterprise was the only aircraft carrier left afloat in the Pacific. She and her men faced the entire Japanese fleet, 6 carriers, plus their defense forces. In defiance, these brave young men flew a banner that they made by hand from the hangar deck that read, "The Enterprise versus Japan."